It's a blowout. 8th inning, 10-3. Bases are loaded for Verlander, who waits on a 3-0 pitch. He swings, and it's a high fly ball. Deep center field. It is gone. Home run. And a huge bat flip to celebrate. All right, Ben, start the show already.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Flippin Bats, and man, I am pumped for this one. 5-time All-Star about to be joining me, MVP award winner, an absolute legend in the game, and has had so much fun playing it no matter where he has been. Andrew McCutchen is about to join me here in a minute. We're going to talk about his 9 years in Pittsburgh and how much that means to him, proposing to his now wife on the Ellen DeGeneres show, playing in Milwaukee now with the Brew Crew. It is going to be an absolute blast, and I am pumped for you guys to hear it. So let's get into it. Let's get to him now. Andrew McCutchen. Cutch, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Oh, man, appreciate you for having me, man.
Of course, of course. Hey, I want to go back to early on in your career, early in your baseball career. And in high school, it wasn't just baseball for you. You did it all. You won a state title in track. You played football. You played baseball. You even had a full ride to play football at Miami. How easy was the decision for you to end up picking baseball? I mean, you literally did it all.
Yeah, quite frankly, it was fairly easy because I was drafted in the first round. I'm not trying to like. I don't mean that in a bragging way, but I mean, it was pretty simple for me. I mean, at that rate, I only played to my sophomore year of football. So I pretty much just stuck with baseball after that. And, that's what I wanted to do. So, yeah, when I got drafted, it was a no-brainer, man. I was like, let's go do it, pursue the dreams, man. And let's go from there.
Yeah, I saw it, probably a pretty easy decision, and I also saw your last year in high school, you hit like almost 800 or something like that.
hey, the competition wasn't that great. I mean, guys were throwing 75. I was a Division 1A in high school, so we weren't playing that hard of schools until we got to like district and regionals and
Gosh,
things like
stop
that.
being so humble, man. 800's 800.
Hey, man, I'm just saying it wasn't the competition was scarce. Let's just put it like that.
That's great. Hey, I've heard a lot of stories about the sacrifices that your parents made along the way and how influential they were to you and your career. Talk a little bit just about how much they've meant to you along the way.
Oh man, my parents, they're everything. They meant everything to me. They definitely sacrificed a lot. They had me when they were in high school. They were still in high school, seniors. So my dad, he was a football player, running back, linebacker. He ended up going to Carson Newman in Tennessee. I believe they won a championship there his freshman year. And he was kind of stuck with the decision of, do I pursue my dreams of playing football? Or do I come back and take care of my son? So he ended up sacrificing, coming back, working countless jobs, taking care of me. Yeah, man, they sacrificed a lot, man,
Awesome.
growing up. Honestly, quite frankly, I don't know how they did it because I was sitting here, I'm 35 right now, and my parents at 35, that means I was 18. So I just don't understand that. I'm like, I don't see how I could be raising an 18-year-old. What do I say to an 18-year-old right now? He'd be asking to borrow my shoes or something. I don't really know, man. It's but they did it. And hats off to them because man, it definitely got me to where I am today.
Dude, it's funny, in a very small world situation, I have probably played in 5 games that your mom sung the national anthem before the game.
Like, what are the odds?
What are the odds? One of them was, I think I was in a big league spring training game playing against you guys, and she sung the national anthem, and she apparently does that a good bit in Lakeland. When did that become a thing?
Man, so I think one of the first times she came, it was a wild card game with the Pirates, and she sang it, and the place went bonkers, of course, and we ended up winning. And that game, and of course after that, they're like, we got to get her on as many times as possible. So she sang it. She sang it another year. We lost. She was like, I'm not doing it again. So I was like, all right. So, but she did it quite a bit. Last time she did it was in 2019 when I was with the Phillies, and we had a big Mother's Day there, and so she sang on Mother's Day, and that was nice. So that was the last time she did it. But anytime she gets the opportunity, if it works out, she goes out, she does it. So it's great. It's great. Proud of her for that.
I love that. Hey, so I want to talk to you about the transition. You get drafted in the first round by the Pirates and go from what you said, a high school with not maybe the best competition in the world, to playing pro ball. For myself personally, the transition from college to then getting drafted and playing pro ball was extremely difficult. What was that transition like for you, immediately going from facing guys throwing 70, 80 to 100 in pro ball? And I can't imagine how difficult that transition is as a high schooler.
Yeah, for sure. I will say one of the things that my dad instilled in me at a very young age was it didn't matter what the competition was. Um, I was going to be able to hang with it. I was going to be able to compete and compete at a high level, no matter where I went. Even as a young kid, a lot of times I go to these tournaments. I would play in age brackets, that were, more. So I'd be 10,
Yeah.
I'd be playing with the 15-year-olds. So, it was, I think my dad was trying to to instill that in my brain that it doesn't matter what the age is, doesn't matter the competition, you'll be able to compete. So I think that definitely helped propel me into having some success when I got drafted from high school, getting to pro ball, and you're facing guys who, you had probably never seen 90. I've probably never seen 95 until
Right.
I got there. And but it was for me. I was just like, all right, let's go. Let's bear down. Let's do it. It's baseball still at the end of the day. Let's go play it. I'm probably not going to hit 700, but I'm going to try and hit close to it. And, go out there and battle, man. And it was a great thing. Crazy quick story that when I first got drafted, my first pro ball, I had a guy by the name of Woody Heike, who's been around for a very long time with the Pirates, came to me and he goes, all right, that 700 stuff, that's not going to happen here. And I remember looking and he goes, 300. Now 300 is good. And I remember laughing in his face and going, 300? I've never hit 300 in my life. Like I always hit higher than that. So I never get, I wish I still had that mentality, but that was definitely an eye opener for me once I kept playing.
Yeah, things change a little bit when guys are throwing 192-mile-an-hour sliders. That's why I'm sitting here though and talking about baseball. Hey, so you start shooting up through the system, and I know so your short season you played in Williamsport, and I don't know if you know this, but at some point the Pirates organization transitioned over to Jamestown, the Jammers, and you dodged a bullet. That place is an absolute dump.
Oh gosh, man, you definitely have your. Yeah, there's some places that aren't great. But, I will say I got lucky with the places that I went throughout the minor leagues.
You make your big league debut in 2009, and it was awesome, man. It really was a lot of fun to watch you. And you go on one of the most incredible stretches. For a while, you were one of, if not the best player on planet Earth, a bunch of All-Star games, MVP award, playing all in front of your hometown, the place that loves you more than anything, Pittsburgh. When you look back on your time there, what does it mean to you? What did playing in front of that crowd mean for you?
Man, it meant so much. We went through so much, not just as a team franchise, but I mean the city of Pittsburgh. I think that's what made it so special. Is you have such a hometown feel when you're there, and you really feel like you feel a part of what the fans have felt and did feel over those years when they lost, and then you have so many stories of people who were around when they won back in the 70s. And, that whole We Are Family vibe, you get that vibe there. And I'll never forget, I was with my best friend, Kenny, in like 2010 or 2009. And I was in the middle of the mall. I'm sitting down and we're just eating. And I looked at him and I went, man, if things go the way I want them to go here, man, I'm not going to be able to do this again. I'm not going to be able to sit down at this ball and just eat comfortably.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I'll be cool with that. And, we kind of like, sat there and thought about it for a minute. And, fast forward, I mean, things started happening the way I wanted them to. And, I had a really good time there. But, man, it holds a special place in my heart. And, every time I go back there, I get all the feelings, the euphoric feeling every time I go back. The fans are always great. And, I love it, man. It's amazing. Still live there in the off season. And, I really enjoy it, man. I enjoy my time there.
Well, it got to a point where, you were everybody would recognize that you're the best player on earth, and you had those dreads. So my question for you is, are the dreadlocks ever coming back?
No, they're not. They're not. There's too much. It's too much, man. Too much maintenance. Take too long. I had those things for 9 years, man. So, the process of trying to grow those back, it's too long of a process. So, no, man. I had my fun with them. I love it. And people always talk about it, like, all right, cool, man. But guy got to grow up a little bit.
In 2013 there, you got to play in, and I remember like it was yesterday, one of the coolest wild card games I think I have ever witnessed. The blackout game, the whole city was behind you guys. It was awesome to see. When you look back on that night, that game, the blackout, what are some of the memories that come to mind from that night?
Man, it was amazing. I can't take full credit for the blackout. So my good friend, Michael McHenry, who I played with for quite a few years in Pittsburgh, the day before we were having practice, and he came up to me and he went, man, it would be really cool, man, if everybody dressed in black. And the whole fan base came, everybody had on black. We called it blackout. Like, he was going over this with me. And I'm getting hyped up. I'm like, bro, this is gonna be sick. And at the time, I was pretty hot on Twitter. So then I was like, I went on Twitter and I basically said, I need everybody, all fans coming to the game tomorrow, wear black. Blackout, be a black sea. It's gonna be great. And the following day, I'm at the stadium and I get a picture from someone within the Pirates organization of people crossing the Roberto Clemente Bridge right next to the stadium.
Yeah.
And it was full of black. And I was showing everybody on the team, and I went, we're winning. The game's over. We won. We won already. And so, like, it was amazing. The whole game was amazing. I've never been a part of a crowd that was that loud. I couldn't even hear myself talk at times. It was so loud, man. It was a great experience. People, we all enjoyed it. We loved it, man. Everyone still talks about that game. I mean, people were jumping off the bridge into the murky water. Like, oh, what is this? But man, it just shows you the joy that the game of baseball brings to you, man, and the fans as well. So I had a good time. That was an amazing experience.
Is that the coolest game that you've ever played in?
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. I mean, all things considered, that game, stands out the most. From the Johnny Cueto chance to, then a home run being hit right after that, the fans erupting. Like, it was amazing.
I mean, that whole year, I mean, you're MVP, that game happens. I mean, what a year that was. And then it continued on in the offseason. You actually went on Ellen DeGeneres and proposed to your now wife. How did that situation come to be? How did you come up with that?
Long story short, basically I was trying to figure some things out, how I was going to propose to my wife. One thing fell through, and this opportunity came about, and I was like, jumped on it. So I told my then girlfriend at the time, I was like, hey, gonna go on the Ellen show. Considering the year I had been MVP, us making it to the playoffs for the first time, she wants me on the show to ask me questions. I think it would be a good opportunity for her. But she was like, yeah, you should do it. And I was like, yeah, I can invite one person. So make sure you wear something real good, and because I think they're gonna ask me if I have a girlfriend, or a significant other, and so I was like, so make sure you wear something nice. And she was like, okay, and that's basically
So
how it
she
went.
had no idea.
No idea, man. I put her in the stands, and the whole thing went the way that it was supposed to go. I guess I said my lines. I don't remember. I blacked out.
You blacked
And
out. What did she do? Was she crying?
I think she was too in shock to cry. I don't really remember, and I don't watch it. Like I probably watched it one time, but I don't watch
Why
it
not?
at all because man, the feelings you get from you don't want to relive that. Like not in a bad way, but you're just like, man, it's so like gut wrenching when you watch it. You're just like, oh man, oh, so happy that's over. So we did it, man. I did it. It's been history from there.
Have you been more nervous for anything on the baseball field, or was that moment the most nervous you have ever
Oh,
been?
by far, that was the most nervous I've ever been. More than any game I've ever played. Like that one. I mean, that's a tough thing. People don't understand the pressure that men are under when it comes to proposing to your girlfriend. People do not understand it. If you're not a male, if you just don't get it, I'm telling you, it's tough. It is tough.
So you've since playing in Pittsburgh, moved on and played for a few different teams. But before we talk about that, Pittsburgh clearly means so much to you, and you still have family there, and you still have you hold down roots there. And what does the city of Pittsburgh mean to you?
I mean, it's amazing. It means everything to me. I mean, that's where I got my career started. It's where a scout spotted me and said, "Let's give this kid from Fort Meade, Florida, a chance." Yeah, it's where my journey and the game of professional baseball started. And if it wasn't for that, who knows? I mean, clearly I'd probably be on another team, but it worked out the way that it was supposed to work out. And yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I really enjoyed myself, my career there. It was a place where I thought I wouldn't leave. I thought that I was going to be there for my career. But at the end of the day, it's when you realize the game is a business. And it doesn't always go the way that you plan on it going, but you just have to keep bear down and just appreciate the time that you had there. And I did. It was a great 9 years that I spent there. And yeah, man, it's a special place. I really, really enjoy just every moment, every up, every down, 100-loss season to almost 100-win season. It was a great experience for me. That's where I met my wife. It's awesome, man. It's awesome.
That's exactly what my brother says about Detroit. Is he never expected to leave. He thought he would spend his whole career there, but at the end of the day, it's a business and it happens. But there's still a lot of love in your heart for the place that gave you that chance. It's pretty cool. And you spent 9 years there, and then kind of shuffle around to a few different places. A stint in New York, and you're in Philly for a little while. And was it hard for you after spending so long in one area to kind of shuffle around to different teams to feel at home in an area? Was that difficult?
Yeah, it is definitely a transition. And the way that I looked at it was no other place is going to feel like home, especially when you've been somewhere for so long. It's no different than growing up as a kid at one house that you've been there for a majority of your life. And then you end up going, you meet your friends, you have family, you have everything there at that one place. And then you end up leaving and going somewhere else. It's not going to feel remotely like the home that you grew up in. And that was the same situation for me. I wasn't trying to go somewhere and try and recreate it and make it feel like home. I knew that was impossible. But I knew the transition was going to be different. It was going to be challenging, and it was. I had just had a newborn, and trying to get used to being on a different team, and I was going to the Giants, which they were amazing. That organization is a great organization. I don't think I could have gone anywhere else to make me feel as comfortable as I did. They were amazing. They did a tremendous job just making me as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
and I appreciate that more than anything. Great guys over there, great organization. But yeah, it was definitely challenging at first. I always wondered how it would be when you first get traded. People always talk about it, but you don't really understand it until it happens to you. So let that happen. I mean, yeah, it was definitely challenging for a while, but after the first time, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
it's kind of exciting. You go to a different team, you get to figure out how cool that organization is. You get to learn some things about it. It actually it's kind of a fun experience after the first time to get traded.
Well, so now this year you wind up in Milwaukee with the Brewers. What was it about Milwaukee that ultimately made you say, that's where I want to be. I want to be in Milwaukee. That's where I'm going to sign.
Yeah, I think in the beginning, when you're fresh, you're a rookie, you're in the major leagues, you just love everything about it. You're there, the bright lights, the fans, the just everything about the game is everything you would have ever wanted or wished for or hoped for. And then winning is like you care, but you're just like, man, I'm just happy I'm here.
Right.
But eventually over time, you're like, man, I really want to win. I want to know what that feels like. And then especially when you've experienced a taste of it, you want more of it. And so when I have these opportunities to be able to sign with these teams, I'm trying to be somewhere where I know I can have an opportunity to be able to win. And then so when the Brewers came along, I felt like it was a no-brainer. Been in the playoffs the last 4 years, and I felt like, yeah, it's a great place to be. And I mean, who wants to face Corbin Burns or Brandon Woodruff?
Not you.
Or
That's why you joined them.
Hauser. Who wants to face those guys? So I was like, yeah, let me get over on that side. Let me get on that squad and let's do it. So man, it's been amazing, man. It's fun over here. I'm back in familiar territory, being back in the NL Central. And it's great. I get to go home back to Pittsburgh every four times or so. So yeah, man, I'm enjoying my time here.
You talked about Burns and Woodruff and Peralta and how incredible they are. How about the back end of the bullpen? How incredible has Josh Hader been at the back of the bullpen? I mean, it's game over.
Yeah, I mean, quite frankly, you could just put your glove on the ground. You don't even have to. You don't. I mean, bring the lawn chair out. Take the newspaper out, like put your feet up. That literally, like majority of these guys, I've been DHing mostly, but I have some games where every now, like probably every 4 or 5 games, I'll go and I'll play the outfield. It wasn't until this last game that I just played defense where I probably get one ground ball, like in the outfield. I don't get anything hit to me. I'm like, man, this could be the easiest Gold Glove I could ever win because I ain't getting anything, But that's what makes these guys good, man. That bullpen, these arms, man. I mean, everyone knows it. That's their MO, man. It just you got arms and they shut it down more times than not. All we got to do is throw a few runs up on the board, and they're going to take care of the rest. So the games that we lose, we know we should have won. We just had a game we just lost. We knew we should have won that game. That's how majority of the losses have been. So just shows you how special the team is.
What have you learned about yourself playing in Milwaukee this year? You have a bunch of different roles. You're DHing a lot. Sometimes you're leading off and playing outfield. What have you learned about yourself in kind of a different role this year in Milwaukee?
I'm understanding the impact that I could bring to a ball club. Sometimes you don't necessarily, you try to be modest about, your role and whatever that is. But, I'm starting to realize, how impactful I can be, not just being in the lineup and being and helping in any way that I can when I'm hitting or if I'm playing the outfield, whatever that it is. But it's just the presence of being around the team and trying to make the team better by the way that I carry myself and by the way that I do things.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to just really focus in and own into the things that I can do to one, make myself better, but make the guys around me better. And I think I'm really starting to feel that a lot more. Maybe it's because I am DHing more and I have more time to really think about it. But it's just figuring and realizing the impact that you can have on a ball club, on the guys around you. And I'm just finding ways to try and make the team better. That's it. And it's it's been a fun ride thus far. Yeah, man, hopefully we can just finish strong and just take care of the game today.
Yeah. I mean, you get the team is legit. And I've said this a lot about the team. It's kind of built so that the lows are never too low, but the highs are elite, because the pitching staff is always keeping you guys in it. It's a lot of fun to watch. And unfortunately, this year you went on the COVID IL recently and missed some time. But what I want to talk about is during that time, you were live tweeting a good bit about games, a lot of insight there. So, Kutch, my question to you is post-career, whenever that comes, is there a future in broadcasting or something on that field?
I haven't given it much thought, but I do realize that there is some opportunity there. So it's not something that I'm going to say no to, but if the opportunity presents itself, which I'm sure there may be some opportunities there when I'm done playing, I'll probably jump on it because, there is some things that I can't just sit around the house, so I'm definitely going to want to get into something. And I do think in some way, shape or form, that opportunity is there for me. So, I definitely would like to look into it, man, because, you definitely it's good to get some insight so people can have a different view of what they may be seeing. I've always, at the end of the day, I always want to tell myself, I don't want to be too far removed from being a player. A lot of times what happens when you're a player, then you're removed from it for a while, you kind of forget, and that just happens. It's part of it. But I want to be close enough to it to where people can realize I can give them a different point of view from a player standpoint, as opposed to giving it from a fan view or a fan standpoint. So I think I could bring something to the table to just where people can go, man, I didn't think of that. I didn't know that,
Right.
So something I'd definitely be into.
Is Kutch the coach on the table? Is there a coaching career possibly at any point?
No chance. No chance. That is way too stressful.
I hear you.
I don't know how these guys do it, man. Kudos, man, because it's a tough job, man. You're dealing with a bunch of different people, man, and different personalities on a daily basis, and man, you're giving constantly, So that's tough. But no, I don't think that's a place for me. I do think there's a small place for me in that aspect. I love hitting. I love the art of hitting. I love everything about it. But I ain't trying to be a hitting coach. But I do think there's some type of something when it comes to that. So I don't know, man. I guess we'll see.
You'd be great. I mean, your analysis was it's fun to follow along. You're obviously a brilliant baseball mind, and you got the personality. I hope you do it. I hope you join me here on Flippin Bats. That'd be fun as well. Hey, I was listening to an interview with Rowdy Tellez the other day, and he said that you gave him the nickname Gru from Despicable Me. How did that come to be? That's not true?
It's cap. I did not give that man. I did not give that man. I went on with it. Someone gave him the name, and I went on with it. So that's probably what he went. That's probably what he heard, because someone called him Gru, and then I was like, no, everybody in line. Like I was like talking like Gru, and I think maybe he heard that and was thought. I was like, no, bro, I never did. I didn't even know that was his name. So. No, I didn't. But it was funny. It was funny. I will say that.
In your long career of playing, assuming you're telling the truth and you didn't actually give that nickname, what is the best nickname that you have ever given a teammate?
I think one of the best is, man, it's such a hard way to explain why. But Starling Marte, we call him Bean Bean. And so if you realize who Marte is, like as a person, you realize why we call him that. Like it was a long story short. We did an improvisation with the team. We did Jack and the Beanstalk, and he was a part of the improvisation. Mm-hmm. And he had to say something about beans and selling beans. for a cow, and he was just like, "Give me the bean for the cow. Give me the cow for the bean," like that. So he was just saying that. So it was really, really funny. So we just started calling Bean Bean after that. So like, it was I think that's just one of the funnier like nicknames that we've ever given somebody. But yeah, Marte, man, he's great.
When are you guys doing improv? How did this come? Like, what was this improv session like?
Oh man, yeah. So Steve Schimbaum, he's a guy. He has his own company, Game On Productions, and yeah, he's big on that. He would always come to the clubhouse, and he would do this. I don't know if you ever heard of like Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah.
But it's like that show, and he would kind of like have his own improvisations, and then people would come up and we do different ones. And it's such a fun time. We have such a good time with that. And it was fun, man. It was fun. But like Marte Bean Bean, that's him, man. That Bean Bean, man.
Hey, so now that you're with the Brewers, and my favorite baseball movie of all time is Major League, and Bob Uecker is there in Milwaukee, aka Harry Doyle, and he's on his 52nd season as a baseball announcer. I mean, it's absolutely incredible the career he's had. Have you had a chance to talk to him and pick his brain about any experiences he's had along the way in his career?
I mean, the dude he's the king of puns. So
love that. Dad joke guy.
You know, I wouldn't even. It's a Uke joke. You know, like he's just big on. He's just big. Like when he says things, like his punchlines and his comeback, everything's just like he's so with it when it comes to stuff. Like they're so witty. So yeah, I've definitely had opportunities of talking to him. He's always in the clubhouse. He has his Jordan low 11s on, and just doing it,
That's
doing
great.
it. And he's like, "Coach," I'm like, we're just, he's a great guy, man. It's fun. It's fun to have him in the clubhouse, and anytime I get a chance, I talk to him. So it is great.
That's great. So all right, I got a couple fun questions before we wrap up. First of which being Milwaukee. The stadium is known for the slide, Bernie's slide out there in left field. Have you been down it yet?
I have not. I would love to do it. I don't know if it's allowed, but I probably should have did it when I was a visiting player. But yeah, I would love to do it. It looks like a lot of fun. I know a few guys have done it. So yeah, I haven't done it yet, but yeah, maybe here in the near future.
All right. So you guys you're out there, you're one of the games you're playing in the outfield. The sausage race is a huge deal there. Are you guys, as in the outfielders, is there any like side wagers going on who's going to win that day?
No one ever really talks about it, but of course everyone's favorite one is the chorizo. All the kids love chorizo because they think it's like a cowboy. So my son loves chorizo. He also loves the hot dog, but it's no wagers, no side wagers or nothing like that. I just watch it, and I don't really understand how they can keep those things balanced and run in those things, but you definitely see some people eat it. So it's never fun. It's not the eating it part; it's them getting back up because it's top heavy.
Oh God! And your 14-year career now, who is the toughest pitcher that you have ever faced? You can name a couple if you need to.
Tim Lincecum.
Okay.
Tim Lincecum, the freak. They called him. I mean, there's a reason why they called him that. I think I was like 0 for the century before I got my first hit off of him. And then I got him though. Got him in that book.
Love that. Love that.
So I got he might have punched my ticket 10 times, but I got him one time. But yeah, he was definitely tough. R.A. Dickey, knuckleball. I mean, you don't see many of those, and there's a reason why that guy, and I believe it was 13, was a 20-game winner.
Did you face him in that Cy Young year?
Oh yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
So that Cy Young year was your MVP year, right?
I believe so.
It's a big matchup.
But man, I'm telling you, like, it doesn't matter. It all looked the same. I think my first hit off of him was when I was a rookie, and he was on the Twins, and he wasn't throwing the knuckleball as much. He was still throwing more fastballs. And I remember, I think I got a hit off him then, and then I didn't get another hit for like 20 at bats. Like he's a tough at bat. He's a guy when he's pitching, I'm like, all right, man, I don't really got to be in the lineup today.
Gee. All right, another one for you. Of all the stadiums that you have played at, and let's take PNC out of it. I know what Pittsburgh means to you, and you played there for so many years. So excluding PNC, which is one of my favorite as well, what is your favorite ballpark to go to and to visit and play at?
Okay, so hitting wise, I'm in Milwaukee, so like Milwaukee's probably one of my top
Love
places
that.
to go to. Wrigley Field is great. I mean, I know the fans can be tough, but playing there, the atmosphere, the nostalgia of it, I really love playing there. It's always 40,000 people there every night, doesn't matter when. Monday night, 7:00, it's going to be 40,000 people. So it's a great place to be, man. The atmosphere is crazy. I mean, Dodger Stadium, man. Dodger Stadium is great. I love playing there. I love the atmosphere there as well. Get that Hollywood feel, So, I think that's another place I like playing as well. I mean, all the ballparks are great. They're big league ballparks.
True.
I think those are just a few places that are fun to play in. Great atmospheres, and like breath of fresh air when you go there.
Yeah. If you could put together the ultimate BP group, including yourself, let's go a group of 5. So yourself and 4 others. It could be guys you've admired, the greatest of all time, or guys you just think are funny. Who would be other 4 players to be in your BP group?
Oh my gosh. I mean, Jackie Robinson, for sure. Ken Griffey Jr., because that was my most favorite player growing up. Giancarlo Stanton, because he hits absolute missiles. And probably Mike Trout. I think that would probably be my group. That'd be my group of guys. I think it's just a ultimate group. I, of course, would lead off because I don't got their type of pop.
You can't go after
I would
him.
just be – no, I'm going first. And, and I'm just filleting the ball to the opposite side of the field, and I would just sit back and watch what they do. So I think that'd be a great group of guys to be around.
I love that. That's a great group. All right, last one for you here. You've been around the game for a while now and had an incredible career, and I doubt you have seen anybody play the game and do what Shohei Ohtani is doing. How cool is it to watch him and to see what he's doing, and how impressive is it in your eyes to watch him play baseball?
Quite frankly, I don't understand how a guy just doesn't deflate, because you're hitting every day, and then you're pitching, and you're also hitting on the days that you pitch. The whole OHTANI rule. He has his own rule now. It's amazing to watch what he's doing and what he's capable of doing on both sides of the ball. And I think the advantage that he has is he's a hitter. So he understands as a pitcher how hitters feel, what they're thinking. He gets that. So he can go up there and he can pitch, and he can be like, dude, I understand this. That's why I can throw this pitch. And he has plus stuff as well. Yeah. So I mean, it's amazing, watching him throw those 94, mile-an-hour cutters and front hipping righties with it with 2 strikes. It's just amazing to watch. I mean, I got to face him for the first time ever in spring training. And I mean, most guys are working on stuff, and that's what he was working on that game. He was trying to work on front hip cutters the entire time, front hip sliders. And I remember facing him. I'm like, man, I know he's not there yet, but his stuff's really good, man. It's easy. It's free and easy. It's fun to watch, man. He really is. And hopefully he can, continue it, and hopefully he can listen to his body as well. Yeah. And, and just at times be like, all right, let me back off that gas a little bit. Yeah. Because, he's a guy who's needed in the game. but he needs to realize that, you know, he needs to think about himself first. So hopefully he can just, keep doing it, man, because it's fun to watch.
I had A-Rod and Poppy on here last year, and they said he has to be single. That's the only way he can do what he does.
That's it. That's it.
Kutch, this has been a blast, man. Your career, your journey has been awesome. It's been a lot of fun to watch. If you could give any advice to kids coming up playing the game of baseball, what would that advice be?
Man, you are your biggest critic. There's no bigger critic than yourself in this world, regardless of what it is that you do. So you know, whatever it is that you, like people say, you put your mind to it, you can do it. But in a bigger sense of what they're saying is, you motivate yourself. You go and do whatever it is that you want to do in the world. You go put the work in. That's first and foremost. So if you put the work in, if you're dedicated, if you go out and do, you know, things that you need to do to be able to reach your goals, man, you're going to do it. You know, failure is a part of it. You're going to fail. It's going to happen, but use that as a learning curve to keep going and to keep pushing. And I'm telling you, man, it's gonna propel you to do some successful things. Not only that one thing, but that's gonna open the door for more opportunities and more successes. That's what people need to realize. You might have one goal. My goal, I want to be a Major League Baseball player. I get there, that opens the door for other opportunities of success as well. So I think it's just that, man. You put in the work and man, you do that. The sky's the limit, man. It really is. I'm still working, man. I'm still out there every single day. Even at this point in my career, I'm still trying to get better. I was watching video out here before I even got on here with you. So I'm trying to get better, man. Trying to, because I know there's still room to get better. There's still room to challenge myself. And yeah, man, that's what it's all about.
Love that, man. Well, I've always admired the way you play the game of baseball on the field and the person you've been off the field. So thank you so much for joining me. This has been a lot of fun. You're forever a friend to Flippin Bats, so I appreciate you hopping on, and good luck the rest of the way, man. I appreciate it.
All right, man. Appreciate it for having me.
All right, man. See it. Man, that was awesome. Just wanted to thank Andrew McCutchen for joining me. Thank you all for listening. What a blast of a conversation. What a guy. So easy to root for. I hope he continues to play for another 5-10 years. The game of baseball needs him. What a legend. What an absolute legend, and just a blast to talk to. So I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. I know I certainly did. Thank you for listening. This has been another episode of Flippin Bats. Make sure you like, subscribe to the episode wherever it is that you listen, Apple, Spotify, Google, all that good stuff. We're also on social media, Flippin Bats Pod, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and you can watch every episode, the video of it, on YouTube as well. This has been a blast. Thank you all for listening, and I will see you next time on Flippin Bats.